welcome to another episode of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet and Adoption Center. Starting off the show, we have one of our gorgeous dogs here with our volunteer, Tammy. This is Roxy 2, because we currently have two dogs named Roxy on our adoption floor. Roxy 2 is a sable and white husky mix, and she is about 1 to 2 years old. She came in as a stray, but she is previously owned. She's microchipped. Unfortunately, the owner didn't come forward for her. So she's now looking for a new forever home. We are asking that someone with husky experience or similar experience adopt her. It's not a requirement, but it is preferred. Huskies are very quirky. They can be difficult to train. So we want to make sure that we are sending her to a home who fully understands the work and the needs of this dog. As you can see, she's shedding like crazy right now. So if you're concerned about having dog fur all over your home, Roxy's not going to be the right pet for you. She will need grooming maintenance. She is a high energy dog, so she'll need somebody that's going to be devoted to getting her out and keeping her active. Also, you know, they love the cold weather. So your dog, if you adopt Roxy, is going to want to be out playing in the snow and things like that. So if you don't really enjoy the cold weather, another reason that maybe this dog is not going to be the best fit for you. We always behavior assess our dogs. Some of the highlights: she's very friendly and excited when you approach her kennel. When she interacts with other dogs, she play bows, she gets excited. She's pretty easy to obtain, meaning getting her leashed up. She pulls and she's very bouncy, so she can be difficult to walk. We were unable to test her for food aggression because she wasn't interested in the food, and she was difficult to test for guarding because she wasn't interested in the object. So she kind of gets excited for a minute, but then she loses interest very quickly. But she does love to be petted and things like that. Our staff who assessed her said that she's a sweet girl with her own opinion. So if you are interested in Miss Roxy, you can come into the shelter and visit with her. We are open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Our next guest is a little smaller. This is Chase. He is also about 2 years old, and he is a tan Chihuahua mix. Chase apparently is a wild man outside. He loves to run around and play, but in his kennel and with new people, he can be very, very shy. Because of that, we have asked that he go to a home with older children or adults only. When we say older children, for Chase, we're looking for about 13 years old. The reason being is that his previous owner, also said that he was aggressive with kids. So we want to make sure that we're not setting him up for failure. We want to send him to a home where they can understand his shyness and his body language and interact with him in an appropriate way so that everybody is happy. Sometimes younger kids don't understand maybe that the dog doesn't want to be picked up or touched in certain places or have things thrown in front of their faces. So we want to make sure that we're definitely sending him to a home where they're going to understand his likes and dislikes so that everybody stays safe and happy. So when we behavior assessed this guy, we did find that he can be a bit cautious. As you can see right now, his tail is tucked pretty tightly back behind his legs. So he's definitely a little bit anxious in this new setting with some new people. He has no reaction with other dogs. When he knows you, he's pretty easy to get leashed up, but he can be a little shy and take a little bit of coaxing, to get him to come out with you. He nervously walks behind his handler, so he just needs a little bit of confidence building. Dog training is actually a great way to build confidence in a dog. They get rewarded and praised for doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that can really help them go a long way. Not only does it build that confidence for them, but it also is going to be, something that's going to help them down the line with safety and making sure that they're behaving appropriately in a house. So there's a lot of benefits. It helps you bond with your dog if you're an owner. There's just so many wonderful reasons why you should definitely try to get your dog into some sort of good manners training class. If you're interested in making Chase part of your family, you want to stop by the shelter to visit with him. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. This handsome guy is Charlie, and he is a 5 to 6 month old blue heeler mix. He's got that great blue merle coloring, and a lot of people are going to want to take this guy home and make him part of their family just because they like how he looks. It's important to understand that a dog like this is going to be a lot of work for their owner. Just like we were talking about with Roxy, these guys definitely have some quirks to them. He is a herding breed. A blue heeler is a herding breed. So these guys are bred to be working dogs. They are high energy. They're used to running around and herding cows and sheep and things like that. So just sitting around and being kind of in your apartment or in your house as a couch potato is not what he's looking for in his life at all. So we are, as he is a puppy, we're adopting him out through our puppy process. Other things, herding breed experience is required with him. He needs to be properly trained. He needs to have an activity that he can do if he's not going to be actually working. Things like agility and those types of activities are going to be a good thing to keep him mentally and physically stimulated. Frisbee even, any of those types of activities. We are also saying no apartments. He needs to have space to run and play, and older children or adult home only. I think what they're saying is +6 maybe, 6 or 12. I can't recall specifically which one. But he definitely has a high energy level. He has no manners yet. So he's completely reliant on his new owner to teach him all of the things that he needs to learn. He's a very smart dog. He will learn it quickly, but you have to be able to provide that consistency and that commitment to him. He came to us from his previous owner because they just didn't have enough time for him, and I think that says a lot. He is going to require a lot of time. Any puppy does, but a dog like this is going to require much more. If you are someone who has experience with herding breeds, like Charlie, and you're interested in making him part of your family, you can always stop in and visit. If you want to check on his application status before you make the trip into the shelter, you can always give us a call. Our main shelter number is 301-600-1546. They say that labs are one of the best, family dogs, and they're one of the most popular dogs in the U.S. And not only do we have one great lab for you, we have 2 great labs for you. These guys are a bonded pair. We have many bonded pairs on the adoption floor right now. They happen to be the biggest. They both are weighing in at between 75 and 80 pounds, and they're about 9 to 10 years old. They are both females. The black lab is Onyx, and the yellow lab is Girly, and they are just the sweetest dogs. Kind of what you see is what you get. They're very calm, they're very relaxed. From what I've heard from our volunteers like Tammy, Onyx is more of the playful of the two. When she goes outside, she wants to run and play, and Girly is the more relaxed kind of, I'm just gonna lay here and chill and kind of cuddle. They both are very affectionate. They've both been color-coded blue here, which as we know is quite rare, especially with our dog population. But that just means that they are calm, cool, and collected. They adjust easily to new situations, and that seems to be the case with these guys for sure. They were found about 6 weeks ago as strays, but unfortunately some allergy issues in the home led the people who were taking care of them to be unable to keep them. So they brought them here to us, and they've adjusted very quickly. As you see, they they've never met me. They are perfectly happy to cuddle up with me. So they're going to make great members of any family. The one thing is that you do have to take both of them together. They've spent most of their lives together, and they just enjoy each other's company, and we don't want to separate them, as we've done with many of the dogs recently on our adoption floor. They are older, so sometimes older dogs do have some more medical needs. So just keeping those types of things in the back of your mind, things like needing dentals, needing supplements for arthritis and things like that will probably likely pop up somewhere in the near future for you. But if you're looking to take two amazing dogs home and make them part of your family, then Onyx and Girly are going to be great choices for you. They say that you shouldn't have favorites, but I always do, and Roxy is quickly becoming one of my favorite dogs here at the shelter. She's a 3 to 4 year old pit bull mix, and she's got great red and white coat, and she's just super smart, super fun, super playful, super easygoing. She is another one of our blue color coded dogs, which means they're calm, cool, and collected. They adjust pretty well to new situations. Roxy was previously owned, but the previous owner chose not to fill out a profile, so all we have is our behavior assessment, and basically Roxy passed this with flying colors. She keeps her kennel clean, she's very friendly when you approach her kennel, no reaction with other dogs walking by, she's easy to obtain, she's easy to walk, she is relaxed and maintains relaxed eye contact, attempts to lick your face when you make eye contact with her. She just, stops eating and, allows the dish to be removed when we were testing her for food aggression. She willingly lets go of objects. She likes to be petted. The only thing is that she does resist a little bit when handling her feet in her mouth, but that's a common dog thing. One of the other issues with her is that she did have some ear infection type issues when she came in. Her ears are a little sensitive, so we've put a note on her kennel so that people understand that, touching her and rubbing her around her ears is probably not her favorite thing, because it can be a little bit painful for her. But she's just gonna make a great addition to any house. She's gonna fit right in regardless of the children that you have, the other pets in the house. The only thing is that because she is a pit bull mix, if you rent, sometimes pit bulls are not allowed in those types of facilities. So if you're looking to add a dog to your home and you are a renter, we suggest that you talk to your landlord about what breeds, how many pets, size requirements, things like that, that are permitted in your rental property, so that you don't come in and fall in love with a dog, perhaps Roxy, and then figure out down the line, once you've already submitted that application, that you're not able to adopt her for landlord reasons. If you think that you can provide Roxy with the best possible home, do please stop in and visit with her. Once you meet her, you're sure to fall in love with her, just like everyone here at FCAC has. Her adoption fee as an adult dog would be $92.50. We want to thank you guys for watching the canine portion of our show. If dogs really aren't your thing and you need something that's maybe a little bit more low maintenance, stay tuned, and after the break we'll introduce you to 5 of our felines that are also available for adoption here at Animal Control.
Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center is teaming up with more than a dozen shelters this July for the Maryland 2000. The goal of this statewide event is to find new and loving homes for at least 2,000 unwanted cats and kittens. For the entire month of July, Frederick County Animal Control will be reducing the adoption fee for all of our fantastic felines to $15.50. Regular adoption procedures will still apply. For more information about this event, visit frederickcountymd.gov/FCAC.
welcome back. Our first cat guest is Keswick, and he is so strikingly handsome. From the day that he arrived here at the shelter, every time I walked by his cage, I would just like stop and talk to everybody about how handsome he was. He has that beautiful gray coat. He's very long and lean. He kind of reminds me in a lot of ways of Randall, who's been on the show before and who lives in our kitty cabana, that kind of long, lean, very affectionate, just a solid all-around cat. When I actually went to get him for the show today, he was happily sitting on one of our volunteers' laps. He is in one of our very first cages when you walk through the door onto the cat floor, and he is a great greeter cat. He and Fabian are kind of the first ones that you're going to see, and they ask for attention. They're very friendly. They're just going to make great additions to any house. He is about 1 to 2 years old, and he came to us as a stray, so we don't have a great deal of information about, his personality, but based on our experiences, we have color-coded him as an orange cat, which means he's individually average. He will sit on your lap when he wants to. He will play when he wants to, like a typical cat. He's pretty easygoing. He's not demanding of attention like some of the cats on the adoption floor. He's relatively quiet. Alfalfa likes to talk to everybody, but he just kind of sits at the front of his cage and kind of looks at passersby, inviting them to come to him. He's super sweet, super handsome, and all he needs now is to find a loving forever home. If you are as taken in by his good looks and charm as many of us at the shelter have been, you can stop in and visit with him here. Our location is 1832 Rosemont Avenue, and he and all of the cats and kittens on our adoption floor will be going home for an adoption fee of $15.50 as part of the Maryland 2000 in July. Our next guest is a little bit smaller, more petite, compact than Keswick. This is Macy, and she's a 1-year-old gray tabby domestic shorthair. She was previously owned, however, they neglected to give us any information about her. When you're surrendering an animal, when we ask you to fill out those personality profiles, the importance of that can't be understated. Those profiles give us a lot of extra information that can help us find the best home for the animal that you're surrendering to us. It lets us know what they get along with as far as do they get along with other cats, do they get along with dogs, lets us know if they're okay with children, do they prefer to be an only cat or do they like to have a companion, what are some fears, things that they like. If they don't seem to like a lot of loud noises, then maybe we won't try to send them to a home where there's a lot of young children. Those types of pieces of information are incredibly important, and we can only get them from you, their owners. So if you are surrendering a pet and we ask you to fill those out, please take a little bit of time and fill those out to the best of your ability. That's just, we want to put the animals in the best new home possible, and that helps us do that more than just, based on what our limited experiences are with the animal. That being said, I have talked to a couple of the volunteers that have had interactions with Macy, and they say that she's super sweet, she's very loving and affectionate, and what we're seeing now is that she is definitely watching that toy. She has that playful spirit still in her. And right now, with it being kitten season, a lot of the cats like Macy are getting overlooked, but what I do want to say is that at about a year old, they still have that very much kitten-like playful spirit. They want to play, they want to run around, but you know more about what their personality is going to be. Kittens are, it's like the box of chocolates. You really don't know what you're going to get when you pull one out, and they're still figuring out whether they're going to be calm and cuddly or they're going to be rambunctious. And when you're getting a cat that's about a year old and older, they are more settled, so you know what you're going to get. If you are interested in making Macy part of your family, The first step is always to come and visit. And then if you're still interested, we have an application process. You'll need to fill that out. It takes about 2 to 5 days to process those applications. Our next guest is Mama. So one of the things that you'll notice when you come to the shelter, when you're looking at animals, is you'll see their names on their cards. And if you see a name without quotation marks, that means that's the name that the animal came with. Either we know from the previous owner, we know from a microchip or something like that, that's their name. If you see quotation marks around it, then you'll know that we gave those animals those names. With Mama, she came in named Mama. She's about 2 years old, and she's a domestic short-hair brown tabby. She, again, is color-coded orange, so she's individually average. She's very sweet. Volunteers and staff only have the nicest, best things to say about her as far as her personality. But one of the things you'll notice when you're looking at her is that her fur, to quote one of our staff members, is a hot mess. So Mama has some bald spots, she has some thinning fur, she's got some scabby places, and those are all a result of allergies. One of the possible reasons is it's a flea allergy. A lot of cats are actually, in fact, allergic to fleas and flea bites, and this is a possible outcome for that. They get bitten, they have a reaction, and all of their fur falls out. It could also be an issue with food, things like that. She seems to be doing okay on our regular diet, which is IMS. So she's just being treated with Revolution and those types of flea preventatives. And then we also put her on some antibiotics to help clear up the skin infection that she's got going on. Eventually, her fur will grow back, and she'll be beautiful on the outside as she is on the inside again. But unfortunately, a lot of people, when they walk by her cage and kind of see that she's not maybe as pretty right now as some of the other cats, they overlook her. It's really important to figure out the personality and the behaviors that you're looking for in a cat, and then find a cat here at the shelter that fits your lifestyle and what you're seeking, and not just look at what one looks the prettiest or is the cutest. She was previously owned, and they brought her to us because they said they were unable to take care of her. And it might have been something where, now she has this allergy, she has this skin infection, and they just can't afford her vet care. But we're taking care of that for her now. So if you're interested in taking the journey with Miss Mama here as she becomes her full, beautiful self again, you can stop in and visit with her here at the shelter. As I'm sure that everyone realizes, we are now in the midst of kitten season, and we have a lot of teeny tiny 12-week-old, 10-week-old kittens. And Clary here arrived at the shelter in May as one of those 12-week-old kittens. But now at about 5 months old, she's being overlooked. She spent some time in sick room, and for whatever reason, no one decided that they wanted to make her part of their home. And now she's a little bit bigger than the other kittens that are on the floor, and she's getting overlooked again. So we wanted to showcase Clary here on the show today. She is just as playful, as you can see, and she is definitely quite a looker with that Torby coat that she's got going on. A Torby means that the cat has tortoiseshell colors, the blacks, the oranges, and then she also has those tabby cat stripes mixed in as well. Clary was brought to us after being previously owned for just 2 days. They said that she was too rough with a small kitten in the house. So kittens, they play, and sometimes they play pretty rough. But also 2 days is not long enough for them to figure out, the hierarchy in the house. We say that everybody should keep their animal for at least 60 days before making any decisions about whether or not to keep them in the house. So we have gone ahead and listed that Clary would probably prefer to be an only cat, but that's not necessarily true. It really just depends on how long you're willing to work with your animals. It's also important to know that your animals don't have to be best friends. I have multiple cats at my house. None of them want to cuddle up and take cute little Instagram photos together for me. They kind of do their own thing, and they're perfectly content in doing so. So as long as you understand that, Clary could definitely be a cat with other cats in the house, especially since she's so young. She can learn to cope and adjust. But that's just something to take into consideration when you're deciding on an animal. Plenty of people like to just have one pet, and Clary would be an excellent choice for those families. She, as playful as she is, she does have that kind of sweet and cuddly side. She likes to lounge in a bed. She has this favorite bed here at the shelter, and she just sits in it like it's a recliner, and she's perfectly content to hang out in that all day. If you are interested in making Clary part of your family this kitten season, you stop in and visit with her here at the shelter. Again, all of the cats and kittens are adopted for a fee of $15.50 in the month of July. Our last guest is one of our seniors. This is Boots, and in addition to being a senior, he's also one of our black cats, and he's also one of our shy cats, which can make it a little bit harder for them. I say a little bit, it can be a lot harder actually for them to get adopted. The black cats tend to blend in with the stainless steel cages. There's not as many things that set them apart like some of the other cats that we've seen on the show today with their patterns and their colors. And then the fact that he's shy means that he's not going to come out and greet visitors. He sits in his hammock or underneath his hammock, and he's perfectly content that way. So people often walk by his cage like it's an empty one. But Boots is definitely worth taking a look at. He is a very sweet guy, and once you take the time to slowly introduce yourself to him, he loves attention. He likes to have someone pet him, and he rolls around and he purrs, and he's just so sweet. And even though he was terrified to come out here today, once he had a nice lap to sit on, he kind of settled in, and he's not maybe the most relaxed, but he's definitely much more comfortable. And once he's in a home environment where he's around people he's familiar with, I think this is what you're going to get with Boots. Boots came to us previously owned, and he was surrendered to us in April after his owner passed away. The owner had multiple cats. There were too many for family and friends to take care of, so they brought them here to us so that we could find them new forever homes. They do say that he's used to being around primarily women, and I have seen that with a lot of the volunteers that interact with him. They are women, and he's definitely warmed up to them quite quickly, and that he's shy, which is definitely something that is hard to miss with Boots. But he just needs a little bit of patience, a little bit of TLC, and our volunteers have been working with him daily to get him more acclimated to the shelter environment. And he's definitely come a long way from where he was. If you come up to his cage quietly, he will kind of come down. He wants attention, especially if he's familiar with you. He has potential. He just needs somewhere safe and loving so that he can show his truest version of himself to a new forever family. We want to thank you for taking the time to tune in and meet some of the available animals that we have here for adoption at Frederick County Animal Control. If you are interested in any of these, you can always stop in and visit with us here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue, or you can call and check the status of any of these animals by calling 301-600-1546. Thanks again for watching. We hope that you'll tune in again next week.